Anta kashi tarik jeliu arhaja arpaulai Menteri Rangba ke jela ukanrat ke sangma ula kawe lama ban pelat ya arpauteli kikali bala IT Shaki Cooperative Societies, self-help groups, farmers producer organizations bat kiru shimet bahap hakasi bat Jantia Hills balayarap ka sorkar 100% na ka jinglot na ka scheme Prime Agri Response Vehicles. Ka sorkar kalamang ban penthiat arspa teli kikali bat en sasam hadin ya ka jingalang halor kane la penlong HMAMEIT Upper Shillong Hagajing dan lang ka Menteri Kamrep kakong Amperin Lingdo ka Secretary kakong Isawan Dalalu bat kinong rem.
Okay.
And Novatem Integrated Village Cooperative Society Limited.
Good. One, two, and three.
Now, this marks the official launch of this Prime Agriculture Response Vehicle scheme.
Create the employment that's required for this 47,000 youths that are joining every year. Every year. So while yes, we may talk about government jobs, but let me tell you, they are only 1% or 2% of the entire availability of work in the entire market. Hence, they will not be able to resolve the problems that we have. And that's why in the last 5 years as a government, we have realized and started focusing on agriculture, food processing, tourism in a very, very big manner. We have started focusing on service sector. For the first time, Meghalaya has international BPO processes and call centers running from Shillong. We have companies from US, from UK, from other parts of Europe running their processes right here in Shillong, where more than 3,000 of our youths are employed in the service sector. And this government intends to have another 5,000 seats available by April. Construction is going on right now as we speak. And I'm hoping that in the next 5 years, we should be able to expand our IT sector to more than 20,000 seats and be able to provide roughly 50,000 jobs in the IT sector. So similar, and obviously for this to happen, for the private sector to grow, many things are required. To be able to cater to this 95% requirement of jobs in the private sector, we need to ensure that we have the right environment in our state. We need to ensure that we are looked at as a state that is peaceful and as a state where we can invest in, so that tomorrow big hotels can come and invest. Through the hotels, jobs are created. Through these hotels, the agriculture sector is benefited. All of these are connected. So for investments to grow, we need to have the right environment, the right ecosystem. We also have to remember that while we do that, we need the private sector to come in, which means all of you. We need the entrepreneurs, we need the IVCS groups, we need the members, secretary, presidents. So in this entire economy of our state, while we're trying to boost up our private sector, agriculture and food processing plays a vital role to ensure that we are able to provide economic benefits to our people, so that we are able to create the employment that's required for this 47,000 youths that are joining every year. Every year. So while yes, we may talk about government jobs, but let me tell you, there are only 1% to the farmer benefit have been initiated by this government. And we have seen that and heard from so many of our friends who have spoken on how there has been a transformation and how the overall farming sector has started to change. The farmers are slowly starting to get the benefit, and slowly and steadily we are seeing many areas and many sectors within the farming sector grow, and farmers getting a large amount of benefit. Another important aspect of agriculture and farming is also to remember that the agriculture sector creates a large amount of employment for us. Just to give you a few numbers, Meghalaya, according to its demographic, almost every year there are close to 50,000 youth that join the workforce. Every year. Based on our birth rate, sometimes it's higher, sometimes it's lower, but on an average, 50,000 new boys and girls are joining the workforce every year. If you look at this workforce, there are only two areas which they can go. One is the private sector and one is government. Tomorrow, this is part of the bigger plan, is what I'm trying to tell you. So hence, today we have distributed just 20 vehicles out of the 200 in the first phase. I'm happy to inform you that we have agreed to give another 200 vehicles in the next phase. That means 400 vehicles is what we'll distribute. And not only that, my target is that in the next 5 years, we should have minimum of 1,000 vehicles in this agri-response system. And only then will we see a strong fleet of vehicles at the availability of the farmers to be able to utilize it and not be manipulated by large buyers who will then, not allow the transportation to take place. You're not able to take your product to the market and you are forced to sell your product at a cheaper rate. No. The farmer must be in control of the situation. You must be able to decide whether you want to sell the product or not. Just because you don't have a vehicle to take your product, or vehicle to bring back your product, or just because you don't have the cold storage to store the product for 1 night, 2 nights, 3 nights. If you are at the mercy of the buyer and the middleman, then that is exactly where the problem lies. And that is what we want to solve. And I'm not saying we'll do it in 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, or 1 year. It is a process. It will take time. But the work has begun. So that we're able to get advantage of the entire ecosystem. Where is it that the farmers are having problem? What is it that they need? How do we fill those gaps? It requires the master plan to be in front of us. We cannot do just distribution of vehicles because tomorrow election is coming. Or just because some people come and ask us for vehicles, we just give the vehicles. No, it's not. We created the IBCS because we knew that unless we have an organized institutional framework where the farmers are then connected to a system, no matter what benefit we give, ultimately it may not go down to the grassroots. So you need the wiring or the piping to take place. Once the piping takes place, whatever you pour in the tank reaches to the public. And hence the IBCS program, hence the self-help group program. These are all meant to be connected to each other. And hence what I'm trying to tell you that as a government, we have a big plan. We are not here just to, as I said, distribute vehicles or distribute tourism vehicles tomorrow. This is part of the bigger plan, is what I'm trying to tell you. So hence, today we have distributed just 20 vehicles out of the 200 in the first phase. I'm happy to inform you that we have agreed to give another 200 vehicles in the next phase. That means 400 vehicles is what we'll distribute.